Cheers. You are now watching Create a Steady Hustle with Liquid Cash.
A lot of times if you at a certain age in your life and you don't have the man that you want, you know, I know you can sit around with your girls and you can fake the funk and talk about man ain't shit, man ain't this, man ain't that. But at the end of the day, man, when you sit down with yourself and you really do some soul searching, you realize it ain't the man, it's really you. You dig? Instead of wasting time trying to gossip with your females and talk about how men are reacting and how men are moving and what they doing and what they not doing, you really need to check yourself and understand that your emotional intelligence IQ might be very low. And a lot of men don't got time to put up with it, and they can smell it from a mile away. They can see it from a mile away, you dig? We don't need to spend a lot of time with you to know if you emotionally intelligent or not. We don't gotta be with you 5-6 months to realize, okay, this person is not in control of their emotions. All it takes for me is 5 minutes. I could be around you for 5 minutes because it ain't about what you do, it's what you say out of your mouth. I'm paying attention to that. Because you could be acting a certain way, trying to be on your best behavior, but the words that you say out your mouth, that's gonna let me know where you at on your emotional intelligence scale. You feel me? So yeah, we have to raise our emotional intelligence IQ. A lot of women suffer from just always responding to certain things in a negative way and not understanding that everything doesn't need a response. Everything you think or everything that you feel, you don't have to react on that. You could just sit with your thoughts and ask yourself the questions of why you getting pissed or why you mad or why you in your feelings. And you know, I was talking to somebody earlier today. A young boy was telling me, when I tell my woman the truth, she gets upset. When I tell her a lie, she gets upset. So either way, I'm in the wrong, you dig? And I told him, I said, regardless of how she responds to the truth or a lie, you always gotta be truthful regardless, you dig? You always gotta be truthful regardless. And even though she might not even believe you when you're telling the truth, you still always gotta be truthful because it's gonna make you sleep better at night. Don't worry about how she's reacting to the truth. She needs some soul searching. She needs to grow. She needs some personal development. She needs to raise her emotional IQ, you dig? And I noticed that it's been a pattern with women. It's a pattern. Soon as they're upset at you, soon as they're mad at you, they react in a negative way instead of reacting with love or giving you love. Instead of just being a positive influence, the first reaction is always a negative one. But it's that same chick that told you she'll do anything for you just 2 weeks ago, just the other day, or just the other night. She'll do anything for you. But that's that same one, if you married to, that will take you to the divorce court and take you for everything you got. It always bugged me out to think about how we go from loving this person and thinking that you're gonna be with them for the end of time or until the end of time. And then all of a sudden, you in the divorce court trying to take everything from that person you said you once loved. It's a strange thing that happens when it comes to these marriages and these relationships. You go from being best friends to your worst enemies. You dig? So my only understanding of that is that person really didn't love you. That person really didn't care about you. They put on a good facade, they put on a good show. Because at the end of the day, regardless if you're together or not, you're not gonna respond to a person that you say you quote unquote once loved with negative energy. You're gonna try to figure that out in a positive way. You're not gonna take him for all he got, or you're not gonna take her for all she got. You're gonna find some way to rectify the situation and make sure both parties are happy at the end of the day. That's how you move when you really care or you really love somebody. But 9 out of 10 times you see that don't really happen. Once a woman takes a man to the divorce court, she gonna take him for everything he got. She want the house, she want the car, she want the dog, she want everything this man got, and he gotta start off from ground zero. Some niggas don't make it back from that. A lot of niggas don't make it back from that. You dig? And for women, that's their come up. For some women, that's their come up. You know, I was watching the other day, Tyrese was going through a situation like that. And I mean, a female that he loved and he cared about, all of a sudden wake up one morning and say she wanted a divorce. And then she doubled back years later and talked about, oh, it was bad information. She was getting bad information in the air from her friends. Now, by the time you realize that you was getting bad information from your friends and you made a mistake, you just ruined this man's life. You know what I mean? You basically ruined the man's life. His life is in shambles. It's too late for you now to come back and double back and say, man, I made a mistake. These girls was in my ear. They gassed me up. They made me think that you was in this way, you was that way. You know what I mean? And you start listening to your friends and then you make a mad move. You left the relationship because you mad. The person ain't even did nothing that was even deserving of the relationship to not last. But you just made a mad move. And that happens a lot of times when it comes to women. They make a mad move. They get out of a relationship not because the guy did something that was valid enough for her to leave. It was just that she was in a feeling, she was upset, her friends was in the air, giving her bad information, and all of a sudden she made a decision that she regrets now to this day. Don't make a permanent decision off of a situation that could be rectified in an instant, in a second. You feel me? A minor situation. We major in minor things. Let's stop majoring in minor things. Certain situations don't call for you blowing up and responding or reacting in a big, gigantic ball of negative energy. It's a minor situation. Deal with your issues. Deal with how you feeling before you bring it to his attention. Because when you're a high level man or you're a man that's on the grind trying to get to your bag, you don't need minor things in your mind. Because men like to fix things. So we fix as a real man. If you come to us with a situation, the first thing we trying to do is figure out how we're going to fix this, how we're going to fix the situation, how we're going to resolve it, how we're going to rectify the problem. That's the first thing a real man is thinking about. We're not thinking about arguing with you, going back and forth with you. We're not thinking about trying to say the worst thing to make you feel some type of way. Now we're thinking about how to fix the situation. We're thinking about a solution so we can move on to the next and really focus on the thing that we're really trying to accomplish or trying to do. But a lot of times women like to harbor on these negative emotions and these negative feelings and not understanding that, listen, man, when you're dealing with a go-getter, a man that's chasing a bag and a man that's trying to execute on his goals, you can't bring minor things to his attention because it clogs his mind and creates negative energy. So whatever he's trying to go after is running away from him instead of moving towards him. Your negative energy affects him more than you know. So pay attention to that. Before you bring a situation to the man or to a person that you involved with, think about how this is going to affect them emotionally. You dig? Think about all the things that they got on their plate before you bring it to their attention. And that goes for men or women. Think about what that person has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Think about all the things that person has to overcome. All of the adversities they deal with on a day-to-day basis. Does this problem or this issue I'm having is even worth me bringing it to his attention? Or could I figure this one out on my own? And 9 out of 10 times when you do that, you realize what you was mad at wasn't even significant enough to bring to his attention. You could figure it out on your own. You got it all mapped out. You was really in your mind. You was really in your head. You don't have to believe everything you're thinking. You don't have to respond to everything you're thinking as well either. The key is to take control of your thoughts and understand that every thought doesn't need a response. And everything you think isn't always accurate. Doesn't have to be the truth. Negative thoughts will grow like a weed in a garden. You don't plant weeds in a garden, but they grow. They come out of nowhere. That's how negative thoughts start to pop up in your mind. So we have to understand we don't have to respond to every negative thought that pops up in our mind. Sit with our thoughts for a second, replace it with a positive one, and move on. Pirates of the Caribbean. Niggas can't fuck with me, man.
That boy.
It's liquid cash, I need it all out the stash.
I'ma get rich or I'ma get deported. Riding cross country, my Ford Taurus. With two hoes and they both foreign. These trick niggas about to get extorted.